And so it came to pass that in times gone by the mighty hero Avenger found himself ensnared in the webs of the great spider Nulak. It would not end like this, however, for the pieces were arranged on the board for one final showdown between the representatives of the many gods of Orb themselves. This then shall be the final confrontation, and all hangs in the balance for good or ill. A battle that goes beyond the physical and into the spiritual realm, a harrowing experience from which few shall escape unscathed, and yet one endures, one upon whom our hopes hang. He is Avenger. He is Ninja. I am Ninja. My parents are the heaven and the earth. My home is my body. My power is loyalty. My magic is training. My life and my death is breathing. My body is control. My eyes are the sun and the moon. My ears are sensitivity. My laws are self-protection. My strength is adaptability. My ambition is taking every opportunity with fullness. My friend is my mind. My enemy is carelessness. My protection is right action. My weapons are everything that exists. My strategy is one foot in front of the other. My trust is in quality. My way is the way of the tiger. Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more of The Way of the Tiger. And since it is unusually cold for this time of winter, yes, I know, I said winter, it's still shockingly cold, I'm wearing an extra blanket and it's going to be even colder tomorrow night, so I probably won't record tomorrow night. Furthermore, we got ourselves into a fight with some nasty monster and are sorely wounded, so we're just going to have to see how it goes, really. I will recap the last section. But hey, we did reasonably well to begin with. We got out of the Spider Queen's web. We were not able to knock out Foxglove, who had a nasty spider on the back of her head, controlling her like a puppet, and lots of little spiders bit us, leading to us suffering some damage. The first injury was from the Spider Queen herself, and now we have to fight a monster. To make things worse, we have an injury that gives us a -2 penalty on kicks. And to make things even worse, we expect there to be some very hard fights in the adventure coming up, and this may or may not be one of them, given what we have gained a disability already. I'd also like to point out that after the first two, maybe first 3 books, I mean technically a bit at the beginning of book 4, we haven't had any increase to our abilities, and that's okay because we don't want our abilities to constantly grow higher. Instead, the abilities of enemies that we face can be reduced over time to show an increase in our skill, you know. And then we wouldn't have to rely on secret bonuses we may have gained, or random bonuses we may have gained.
So we fled the cavern, accompanied by Cassandra, who is a foe. We cannot trust her, but of our many enemies, she is one of the more openly and reliably hostile. We can trust her to hate us and act against us, unless it's in her own self-interest to do otherwise. The winding passageway opens out into a huge vaulted chamber, supported by pillars that disappear up beyond the light cast from the torch of Lumen. There were once torches affixed to the pillars, but they have long since burnt away to charred stumps. Numerous archways form exits that lead on into the darkness. You see a human skeleton in the hall, smashed to pieces, aside a broken sword-shaped amulet. Further away, you can just make out a glittering sword lying half-covered in dust. Cassandra races in on the sword, and when she grabs it, you see a blue spark. She suddenly recoils, wringing her hand. "A weapon blessed by Paladin," she sneers. "Truly the gods mock me." You have no problem touching the sword and inspect it. You do not recognize it as that belonging to your friend Doré Lejeune, but cannot be sure. Although you eschew using weapons, it seems a shame to leave such a holy artifact in this place of evil, so you strap it to your back. We have already added the Paladin's sword to our character sheet last time. You snap into a combat stance as a tall, hulking fiend steps out from the darkness, white and hairless, with spikes adorning its exoskeleton. 2 leathery wings on its back twitch in anticipation. That is the only warning before it grabs Cassandra in a bear hug to drive its spikes into her. She kicks out and drives her head backwards into its dagger-like teeth, and with a roar of pain it hurls her against a pillar. It then charges in on you. This sounds like a horrific monster. I'm going to try a throw. We're going to slide in low with our legs and try and tip this beast. Sounds a little bit like a hook horror, but I'm not entirely certain. Right. You slide along the hall floor, aiming at the fiend's clawed feet below all of its upturned spines. The albino fiend has 22 endurance points, which is a really high number. Oh. There we go. But its defense against the dragon's tail throw is 6, and we have a +1 modifier, so fingers crossed, right? Oh yeah, a very successful throw. We have thrown the fiend. We can use an Iron Fist punch or a Winged Horse kick, adding 2 to our kick or punch modifier. And damage. We have -2 to our kick attacks at the moment, so the +2 would balance it out. However, it has been noted that our defense against counterattacks is often slightly lower after a kick than a punch, and we want to kind of play it safe, so we will go for a punch. This is going to take a long time. You hurl yourself in to deliver an Iron Fist punch directly into the hard carapace of this creature. The albino fiend has a defense of 4 against the Iron Fist punch. I don't think we can miss. Unsurprisingly, that hits. And you know what? D6 +2 isn't entirely bad for damage. Whatever we roll, 6 whole points. Excellent. Takes it down to 16. However, for every hit you score on this creature, you must roll a further die. On a roll of a 5 or 6, you have cut yourself on one of its spines and must deduct 1 endurance. Oh, come on. This is a ridiculously hard fight already. We're okay so far. Oh, we don't need a kill. That's good. The fiend counterattacks by slashing at you with its clawed hand. because we have not reduced its endurance to 8 or less. Our defense against this is 9. That's really good, actually. A 9 doesn't beat a 9. Needs a 10 to beat a defense of 9. We avoid the blow and we do not need to block. I'm going to throw for the damage. Currently this monster feels like a bit of a punching bag. And is that... No, that's not it. That is clearly something else. I think I saw the word livid in human. Anyway. We will attempt to throw. Our throw modifier is +1. And we're lucky to have a throw modifier because it's... I think you can only get it randomly at the beginning of book 4. A very successful throw. We'll go back to section 8. And punch again. A punch that cannot miss. Actually, yeah, it cannot miss. Ah, 3 whole points. I'm starting to see where the urge to use inner force may come in. Because now we do not take extra damage. Excellent. The creature will attack. Our defense is 9. We're good. We will throw. We successfully throw. So we're coming back in for the automatic punch, but a double one can be assumed to always miss. And 1 + 2. 3 more points. We have rolled minimum damage twice now. That is tragic. Do we hurt ourselves on the spikes? We do hurt ourselves on the spikes and take an extra point of damage. Great. So the creature will now counter. Unsuccessfully. We will throw. Successfully. Punch. As it gets up for the, 3rd time now? Very successfully. 4 whole points. That knocks it down to 6. But it may also knock us down to 11. It does not. Excellent. So we have reduced the Fiend to 8 endurance or less, which is good enough apparently. I think Cassandra, yeah. The Fiend staggers and Cassandra leaps up behind it and smashes a rock two-handed against its head, breaking it like an egg. White blood oozing out like pus. I was tempted to watch you and that thing beat each other to death, she says, but I could not have you claim a kill on what attacked me. The spluttering light from a torch approaches from one of the archways, and you both whirl to see it is Thybault arriving. His white robes bedraggled and torn, but otherwise unharmed. His expression turns from joy at seeing you to outrage at noticing Cassandra. Outnumbered and weaponless, she snaps off 2 spines from the Fiend, one of which she hurls at you before she races away through another archway. You avoid it with ease as Thybault starts over to your side. Thus the wicked shrink from the righteous light of Avatar, Thybault calls out. If you have any wounds, if! He chants a prayer softly, and you feel yourself uplifted by Avatar, the essence of light. You may restore up to 8 lost endurance points, and any injury to your face, hands, or leg inflicted by the Black Widow is healed also, negating all penalties you suffered from this. So first off, we're going to remove the albino fiend from the situation. It's no longer a threat to us. 12 and 8 takes us back up to 20. And we shall remove that injury note as well now. So far, so good. You thank him and offer your sympathies over Vesper's demise. He will be avenged, Thybault promises, as soon as I can find my comrades. Taflur and I were ambushed by dark elves and became separated. When I came across a large dark stalagmite back that way, it may be the forbidden sanctuary that holds Glaivas, But we could team up, you and I, and first gain revenge against Cassandra whilst she is unarmed. We could head on to seek Glaivas by Thybault's instructions, leaving Thybault to look for his missing comrades, or team up with Thybault to hunt down Cassandra. Now, this is tricky. We might not have much time to spare. Will he prioritize hunting her or looking for his missing comrades? If he's going after her on his own, he probably needs our help. However, I think we'll follow his instructions and trust that he can look after himself for a bit for now. That's quite a lot of healing he gave us. Full disclosure here, I am aware that later on we are asked if we accompanied him to try and hunt down Cassandra. Regardless of whether we did successfully capture her or kill her or anything, it's more of a, did you spend time doing this? Or did you go somewhere that would alert something? And it seems like going with him now is a bad idea. So I will follow his instructions and leave him to look for his missing comrades and suggest he goes looking for them rather than chasing after her on his own. Also, we do have a picture. Okay, that'll give me something for the thumbnail. At least it's not great. The illustrations in this book are of mixed quality and often not very appropriate to the adventure, and that is because they are recycled from the earlier books in the series, which were also illustrated with these editions. So 150 is going to be this way. Bit further. Oh, not quite that far. Aha. Oh, not Lord GQ from Book 0. Oh no, Lord GQ from Book 2. After some distance, you emerge to find yourself close to a dark stalagmite mound, jutting out like a giant rotten tooth, its surface wet and glistening from water that drips onto it from the cavern roof high above. As you close, you see that the stalagmite is etched with runes that indicate that this is indeed the Forbidden Sanctuary. The place, you were told, houses Glaivas. It has numerous thin, paneless windows cut into its surface. The entrance is marked by imposing stone double doors. Note that if you have the plague, you must look. We do not have the plague. I'm not sure how we could have got it. Probably by taking a different path out of the Spider Queen's lair. The hairs on the nape of your neck tingle, and you turn to look across the misshapen mounds and shark-toothed stalactites for any danger. Then you see it. Slowly crawling across the shadowy cavern roof is the Black Widow herself, heading for the large dark mound. On the ground below her is a blur of movement, black and red like ants. Her host of servants and soldiers from the seventh tier attending to her in her moment of need. You race over to the mound and vault up to one of the lower level windows. It is protected by individual gossamer-like strands that doubtless set off an alarm, but you find one window where they have already been loosened so you can slip past. You consider that someone has already found a way in as you enter, your eyes adjusting to the torchlit gloom. If you have a Daughter of Nulak spider in your head, it wriggles under your brain as if excited to be entering this area. We, I believe, do not, because we have the bullthrush-headed pin. If I can just find the damn thing. But let me check. Torture Lumen. Trich's belt pouch plans. Oh, okay. We may not. I could have sworn we got that pin, which meant we never needed it, because I had to replay the book. But bear with me on this. Interesting. Let's see. Royal Seal, Silver Shuriken, Dead Lotus, Iron Ring of Black Scorpion set in amber. That's from the previous. That's from book 5. Potion of Poison. We don't need that. Some gemstones. Golden Signet Ring of a carved line from a Paladin. That's. I'm not sure. A green gem. Huh. I may have to check the previous book's character sheet to see if there's any notes out there, but I've basically copied it over. You know what? There's a very easy way to check. In case I didn't copy it over, updated. Okay, interesting. Oh, we had to ditch. We had to not take the disguises and not get the pin, and then play along, which would not avoid raising the alarm, so we didn't then get directed past the spiders. I think that was it. So I think we have no bullfresh-headed pin and no Daughter of Nulak in our head. Either way, you continue on. Is that Mance the Death Mage? Yeah, with the stairs and the doorway from book 1. Right. The corridor is dank and filled with a distant, slow wheezing sound. You slink onwards, senses straining, muscles tensed. You search for any stairs down, but there is no basement level here in this hollowed-out rock formation where a dungeon may be. The next corridor is awash with waist-deep water, and you must wade across it. Even if you have the climbing skill, the ceiling here is solid stone, and so you cannot get any purchase. You remove your soft tabby shoes and roll up the legs of your trousers as you step in. You feel a dread chill. This water, as in the stronghold of Nulak, has the properties of holy, or as you muse, unholy water. If you do not bear an amulet of Nulak, you must lose 1 point of inner force permanently. Note on your character sheet that your inner force may never be more than 4 until you find redemption. If you do bear such an amulet, you are tainted by the water, but have already suffered Nulak's curse and suffer no further effect here. In other words, if we didn't get you earlier, we want to really make your life hell now. And if you did suffer it earlier, okay. So we have lost a point. And I'll pop that down here. Just to make it really nasty. So that's actually quite unpleasant. It's taking away a point of inner force just to make the adventure even harder. Which also implies there's going to be times where we will specifically need it. And so I'm glad I didn't spend any in the fight previously. Either way, you wade carefully through the water with barely a ripple, and once through, you dry off your legs as best you can before rolling down the legs of your trousers and placing on your shoes again. When you step onwards, your dry footsteps leave no trail on the dry floor. You arrive at a T-junction. We can head down the main corridor where a slow wheezing sound is emanating, or head right to the side corridor where you see a smear of blood along the black floor. Okay, normally fighting fantasy rule I'd say left is best, but I kind of want to investigate this blood trail and hope I don't come up against some sort of hungry monster. It's a side corridor, so it may be a dead end, and I can come back from it. You follow the blood smear along the corridor and pass an alcove covered by a grey gauze curtain, likely a shrine. You detect muffled noises from behind the curtain. The blood smear continues on into this room. We could pass on, following the corridor around to the left, or cut a small hole in the curtain to see what is happening inside. Let's do that. And this seems to lead back to that main corridor, I believe. Let's quickly check that. 228. Yeah, 120. So it is going back to the other option. So this is indeed a little side diversion. Yeah, let's have a peep inside and see what's going on. You make a small hole in the grey gauze curtain and peek through to see the profile of two familiar faces, Tchurchev and Form. They are dressed in black priestly robes over their clothing, stripped from two dead bodies in the corner, and they are looting golden ornaments from the shelves. The wall behind them has a carving of a beautiful woman's face, and out of her screaming mouth come a multitude of spiders. Other notable features of the shrine are a small river that runs through its centre in a special channel, and a rack of spare black robes standing near the entry. We could pass away from here, grab a robe to disguise ourselves, and leave them to their looting, or start a fire nearby to draw the attention of those in the temple to the two interlopers. I'm not sure a fire would actually kill these two experienced adventurers. And heaven knows they deserve it. But drawing the attention of the nearby creatures to those two would distract it from me, provided I can get away from here quickly enough. And that could indeed be their end. Now, they are enemies. They are villains. I suspect their greed here will get them in enough trouble as it is without us needing to do anything really nasty. And even if we do attract the attention of any nearby guards and denizens to this location as we move away, we will still not be disguised. However, if we do disguise ourselves and run into Thybault or Tafleur or Eris, the magician, they may consider us a foe and attack us. You know what? I know it's been a shortish episode, but it is very cold, and I should probably be going to bed. Common sense is telling me this, and this is a good decision point. You know what? You guys can let me know what you think of these options in the comments section, and we'll see how it goes next time. For now, though, thank you all very much for watching. I know a little bit on the short side, but we got a decent amount of time in, I think. I'll say bye for now, and see you all soon. Just remember, we're all ninjas.